What's up guys, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at Adobe Premiere CC 2018. We're going to be going over some basics, so like the general interface, the tools, and what some of the icons mean. We're also going to be touching on how to change the speed and duration of your clip, and lastly how you can implement speed ramping, how to use it, what it is, and how you can use that in your video so it's not just a sped up clip and it actually has some more flow and motion to it. So first off, when you load Adobe Premiere, you're going to get a screen that's going to allow you to choose a new project. If you click yes, it's going to bring you to a screen like this. You can obviously rename the project whatever you want, and you can also choose the location to where your video will be saved. So for me, I have it set to a YouTube folder on my desktop, but I've already created this project, so I don't need to do that right now. The edit that you just saw at the beginning of this video was just to show you some of the things you can do with changing the speed and duration of your clips using speed ramping, and just showing you that with only a few tools you can make a video look pretty decent. I did use some transitions, but I only used one single transition throughout the whole video, so I just kind of copied and pasted it. And that's just to show you with limited resources and limited knowledge, you can still make a video somewhat entertaining and appealing. So to start off the tutorial, we're going to be doing a quick overview of the general interface of Adobe Premiere. So if you've never used it, don't be scared. It's pretty easy and pretty self-explanatory. First off, we're going to start in the timeline sequence. So this is going to be similar to any other video editing software that you use. This is where your clips are going to be, your audio, any transitions, effects, stuff like that. This is where everything's going to be laid out into layers. So you have your video layers up here, V1, V2, V3, etc., and your audio layers down here. To the left of all these layers, you have these lock icons. If you were to click them, it simply locks and freezes that layer, just meaning if you were to do any edits to layers above it, it wouldn't cut the layers below it. So if you're working at, like, let's say layer 4, and you were doing so much stuff to it and you don't want any of the layers underneath it to be accidentally affected, you can just lock them, and that would assure you that they're not going to be edited, they won't be touched at all. So that's what the lock function does. The next icon we're going to look at is the eye icon, and what this does is it's going to hide any clips in this layer. So let's say I had two clips on top of each other right here. I had one in video 2 and one in video 1, and I wanted to only see the clips in the video 1 layer. I could hit the eye icon and that would hide everything in the video 2 layer. So this is going to be an example of what hiding the layers can do with the eye icon. So right here on video layer 2, I have a clip of me just kind of panning through some bushes and a tree, seeing the light that shines through. And underneath it, right here, I have a second clip, and this one is of the sun. So for instance, if I want to see what the video layer 1 clip looked like right here, I can't see it right now because I have this video 2 layer above it, and it's going to show whatever video layer is on top of it. So if I don't want to see it, I could click the eye icon and it hides it, and now I could scrub through and see exactly what's going on underneath it. Next up, we're going to move to the audio layers. So really what you can do here is you can mute tracks. So if you had a song in the background and you wanted to add some sound design and sound effects and everything like that, you can mute your song, so when you're scrubbing through everything, you don't have to constantly be listening to it being scrubbed through, and then you can kind of more just fine-tune, focus on your sound effects or your sound design. And this next one is pretty self-explanatory, but you also have a voice-over record icon. Click this and it's going to start recording whatever mic input you have. So if you're doing any voiceovers, commentaries, things like that. And the last part we're going to talk about in the timeline is kind of how you can navigate throughout it. So on the right hand side, you're going to have these bars and scroll wheels. If I were to grab it and just kind of make it smaller, you can see that it's going to be expanding on my video layers so I can see more detail within them. Same thing with the audio layers. You can expand them or you can make them smaller. And you can do the same thing at the bottom. And as we move forward with our overview of the general interface, next up we're going to see the toolbar section, And in here, we're gonna be only concerned with 3 tools for today's video. We're gonna be looking at the selection tool, which is this guy right here, the cut or razor tool, and the rate stretch tool, which I have on my keyboard as R. So if you just hit R, it pulls up the rate stretch tool. I will be going over what the other tools do in later YouTube tutorials, but today, like I said, we're just concerned with the selection tool, which is V, the rate stretch tool, which is R, and the razor or the cut tool, which is C. And as we move right along to the left of that, you're gonna see your project bin. This is where you're gonna import any clips, audio, anything that you want to be inside your project. And while I'm in the project bin, I'm going to show you how you can simply import clips or import anything you want. One way to do it is to just select it, right click, go to import. You can import any clips. Another way is to go up to file and go down to import. And as we move up, we're going to be looking at a kind of a preview panel, and this is going to be showing whatever clip you have selected in your project bin. So if I select this one with the waves, it's going to show this guy. And a nice segue into the next section of the general interface is going to be if I were to just pull this clip into my timeline, it will be this panel right here. This panel is going to be showing you whatever your playhead is on in your timeline sequence. This is also very handy to have both of these open, because if you apply any Lumetri color effects to this, if you do any color grading, any effects, it'll only apply it to this clip, and you still have the original one open right here. So you can kind of see what your color changes and everything like that is doing to your clip and how it's affecting it. And lastly, if we move to the right one more time, we have our effects, essential graphics, essential sound, Lumetri color, all that. You have all of your sidebars over here. So if I want to do anything with effects, this is where I would go. And that's going to be the brief overview of the interface on Adobe Premiere. If you don't have all these panels open, you can go up to Window, and for whatever reason you might have some of these unchecked, so all you have to do is check them and then they'll pop up. So now that we've completed the general interface overview, we're going to be looking at how you can change the speed and duration of your clip a couple ways. So first off, before you drag your clip straight into the timeline, I highly recommend go ahead, double click it so it shows up in the preview panel, and you can scrub through the whole clip, see what sections of it you actually want to bring in. So for this one, I already have it highlighted. I have it from this moment up until the end. And the way that you can select what part of the clip you want is you can just move the playhead to a certain area, hit I on the keyboard, scroll down, hit O, and that's gonna mark an in and an out point. You can also just find the mark in button right here and the mark out one right here. So like I said, this is the section of the clip I want. So all I'm gonna do is go up to drag video only, left click, drag it down, and I've only imported this section of the clip, which is all I want. So I don't have to trim it down, I don't have to cut it or anything like that. I have the perfect amount. Changing the speed and duration of your clip is very simple. The easiest way to do it is to simply right click on the clip, go up to speed and duration, left click, and it's gonna pull up this clip speed duration window, and you can simply type in whatever value you want. So let's just say 200, hit OK, and it's gonna speed the clip up. Simply just sped it up twice. If you get this red bar up here, that means that it's not gonna be playing back at real time, so you have to render it. So a couple ways you can do that. One is set an in and an out point. Go up to sequence and hit render into out, or what you can do is just select the clip and hit enter. So now if we play it back, it's going to be sped up. So you can use that if you want to make any time lapses, if you want to get some slow-mo shots. Very simple, very easy to do. Another way that you can change the speed and duration of your clip, but more in a precise manner, is to use the rate stretch tool. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit R on my keyboard. It's going to pull it up. All I have to do is click on the clip, and I can drag it longer to make it slower, or I can shorten the clip and it'll speed it up just by that much. Using the rate stretch tool certainly has some advantages over just right clicking and going to speed duration and changing it from there, because by using this tool, I can fit a clip in between two other clips a lot easier than if I were to try to just do the guesswork and type out the exact percent that I needed to change so it would fit flush in between two clips. So for example's sake, let's just click on this clip, drag it out, and this clip is going to be slowed down quite a bit because I made the clip a lot longer. And the last thing I'll be talking about today is going to be speed ramping. Speed ramping is going to give you more options in how you want the clip to actually look, whether it's slowed down in the beginning then speeds up really quick at the end, or vice versa. It's not just going to be one constant speed the whole time. So it's a little bit more complicated, but also opens the door for your creativity. So to start off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this right hand side scroll wheel. I'm going to go down a little bit just so I can see more of the actual clip. I'm also going to drag it out just so it's a little bit longer so we have more to work with here. So what you want to do now is you want to right click on it, go down to show clip keyframes, time remapping, and click speed. If you were to scrub through your clip, nothing has changed so far. All that you did was enable the ability to add keyframes into your clip and basically make a speed ramp. So what you're going to do is you're going to scrub to any part of your clip that you want to change the speed of. So right here, let's say I want this whole segment to be sped up until the light starts to pop through. So I'll just say right here. I'm going to go ahead and go to this kind of diamond icon and go ahead and click it. And what I did when I clicked this button is I added a keyframe. So it's going to pop up as this little light gray icon right here. Now I'm just going to go through the rest of the clip and add keyframes where I see fit to get the type of speed ramp that I want. Alright, so now I have my keyframe set in the clip and we can go ahead and do the speed ramping now. So what you're going to do is you're just going to hover over this middle line, and this is going to display the actual speed of your clip. So I could just left click it and drag it up and it's going to change the percent, and you can see the percent right below the actual clip. So right now I'm just going to go to 200 and you can see that it raised the bar because this bar, like I said, displays the speed of your clip. Next, I want to bring this middle segment and slow it down a bit. So I'm going to bring that to 50. I'm going to go to the end and bring this one up. I'm also going to change the first segment and make it a little bit faster as well. So now if we were to look at the clip, we have the sped up segment right here, the slowed down segment in the middle, and it speeds up again at the end. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like. Alright, so not bad. Obviously you can see that sped up a lot here, and then it hits this keyframe and slows down immediately, hits this keyframe at the end and speeds up again. So you can obviously just leave it like this. It's a decent speed ramp, but one thing that you can do to make it a little bit more smooth is go ahead and grab this light gray icon and you can drag it and it'll make more of a smooth transition between the sped up part and the slowed down part. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to both of the keyframes. I'm going to go ahead and render it. Now we can go ahead and play it through. And as you saw right here, it's a very small difference, but it does make a difference. So it just kind of makes it more of a smooth transition from the speed of the first segment to the slowed down part of the second one. And that's going to wrap up today's video. If you have any questions or ideas of what you want to see in the next tutorial / video, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, and thank you for watching. See you in the next one.